The first time I stayed overnight with Nora, I remember thinking how quiet her mother's house was once the car pulled away. They lived at the end of a narrow road outside a small town in western Pennsylvania, where the last few houses gave way to woods and wet fields. In daylight, it felt beautiful in a stripped-down kind of way. Early March. Bare branches. Patches of old snow sank into the shade, the yard still soft from the thaw. By dark, though, the place always seemed too open in the wrong directions. Too much glass facing trees. Too much distance between that driveway and anyone who might hear you call out. I'd watched Nora plenty of times before, but never for the night. Her mom had a 2-day convention out of town and asked if I could stay with her. Nora was 6, almost 7, and she adored having the house to herself with me there. We made boxed macaroni, let the dog out twice, and built a blanket nest in the den to watch a movie neither of us ended up paying much attention to. Nothing felt wrong at first. That's the part I think about now. How ordinary it was. Around 8:30, Nora got quiet in the middle of telling me something about school and stared past me toward the side yard. "Did your car beep again?" she asked. I turned and looked through the long window over the sink. My car was parked near the detached garage, where the security light from the side door reached just far enough to silver the roof. Everything looked still. "No," I said. "Why?" She shrugged, but not in a casual way. "I heard the click." I asked what click she meant, and she pointed toward the mudroom. The side entrance had one of those older handles that made a hard metallic snap when it fully caught. I went to check it. Locked. Deadbolt turned. Nothing unusual. I told her it was probably the heat kicking on in the vents. She accepted that the way kids sometimes do when they can tell you want them to. We finished the movie, and I got her upstairs. Teeth brushed, lamp on, closet door shut as she liked. She asked for the hall light to be on until she fell asleep. I said yes. When I came back downstairs, I did another pass through the first floor without even meaning to. Front door, kitchen window, side door, the little latch on the mudroom screen. All fine. I made tea and sat at the kitchen table instead of the den because the house sounded less hollow there. I was scrolling on my phone when I heard it. That same sharp little click. Not loud. Distinct. I looked toward the mudroom door and waited. For a second, I thought maybe the latch had shifted in the frame from the cold, but then I heard the screen door move with it, the soft, springy complaint of it opening an inch and touching back. I stood up so fast my chair scraped. The mudroom light was off, but the narrow window in the door showed a strip of darkness outside. I didn't go straight to it. I don't know why that detail matters, except that I remember being suddenly embarrassed by how afraid I felt in a house I had been comfortable in all afternoon. I switched on the mudroom light first. Nothing. When I stepped closer, I could see the screen door wasn't fully shut. It sat slightly proud of the frame, as someone had tested it and let it drift back. I locked the inner door again, even though it was already locked, then slid the extra chain across. After that, I stood there listening hard enough that my ears started inventing things in the walls. But as the night went on, things started to feel wrong in small ways. A minute of gravel shifting somewhere outside, then silence. The dog, who usually barked at deer, stood in the hallway with his ears up and didn't make a sound. Once, from upstairs, Nora called down and asked why I kept opening the side door. I told her I wasn't. She didn't answer after that. Later, I slept badly in the guest room with my phone on the pillow beside me. In the morning, Nora seemed normal, almost bright. For a little while, I convinced myself I had been overtired, alone in a strange house, and had given too much weight to ordinary noises. Then, while she was eating cereal, she said, "You forgot your cup outside." I asked what she meant. "On the little table," she said, "by the side door." I hadn't been outside at all. I told her to stay where she was and went to look through the mudroom window. There was a ceramic flower pot on the table by the door. Not my cup. What she'd seen, I realized, was the pale underside of it turned toward the glass. When I opened the door, a crack, cold air came in carrying that damp dirt smell you get at the end of winter. The pot had definitely been moved. I knew because Nora's mom kept it tucked in the corner, out of the wind. Now it was centered directly under the window, as someone had stood on the step and set it there while looking inside. I did not tell Nora that part. We left before 10. I said we were going to town for donuts and then maybe the library if she wanted. She was happy with that. I spent the whole drive looking in the rearview mirror, not because anyone was following us, but because I couldn't stop feeling that leaving the house empty was somehow part of what someone wanted. Her mom called around noon. I told her enough to make her understand I did not want to stay another night. She went quiet in a way that scared me more than if she had argued. Then she said that 2 weekends earlier, she'd found the side gate unlatched in the morning and thought she had forgotten it herself. A few days after that, one of the basement windows had been pushed up half an inch beneath the storm panel. She had closed it and moved on. She sounded ashamed, telling me that, as if she should have recognized a pattern sooner. We stayed out as long as we could. A hardware store, late lunch, a discount shop where Nora picked out stickers and forgot to be uneasy. By the time we got back, the sky had gone that flat gray blue it gets before dark, and the house looked exactly the same as ever. That made it worse. Inside, I kept every downstairs light on. I fed Nora, helped her put on her pajamas, and told her we were going to sleep in her mom's room together because it would be more fun. She agreed, but while I was brushing out her hair, she asked, very softly, "Is someone going to try the door again?" I said no too fast. A little after 9, while we were upstairs, the dog started growling low in his throat, not at the front of the house, below us, off to the side. Then came the click. Faint, but unmistakable, traveling up through the vent from the mudroom. A pause. Then another, slower, as if whoever was out there had their hand on the handle, testing how far it would move before it caught. I picked up Nora and took her into the bathroom because it was the only one with a lock upstairs. I called her mom first. Then I called 911. I don't remember exactly what I said. I remember whispering. I remember Nora pressing her face into my shoulder. I remember the dog barking once, finally, sharp enough to make both of us jump. No one got inside. At least, not that night. A deputy came, then another. They checked the doors, the yard, the stretch by the garage, and the tree line beyond it. One of them found fresh mud on the side step and a smudged print on the outer screen, high up near the top corner, like someone had braced a hand there while leaning in. They asked if there were cameras. There weren't. They asked if anything was missing. Nothing was. Nora's mom came home before sunrise. I left after she did, and I never stayed there again. She moved that summer. What stays with me isn't the sound from the door, or the handprint, or even the thought of someone standing that close to the house while we were inside trying to act normal. It's that whoever was outside never had to come in to make it feel like it already knew the place.
Like, shh.